So, available at Walmart. The Urban Maeyer rumors to Jacksonville are fast and they are furious. I was told this weekend, this is what I was told, that Urban Maeyer to Jacksonville was happening. It was close to done. I was told this weekend he has spent the last 10 days, 14 days assembling a staff. That's what I'm told. His concerns are about health. That has always been the issue. And I can say this. I have multiple times in my career, I have moved cross-country for jobs. And I think about it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and it always comes down to a moment. Every single time. It comes down to a phone call or a moment. So Urban could be in that phone call moment situation that is go either way. At least in the idea that, like LeBron going to the Miami Heat. LeBron admits now, it's like everybody around him admits he thought about it for months, but it came down to a moment or a conversation. And so I think Urban's in that space. I think he's going to take the job. Now, there's a lot of things I like about the job. There's a ton of cap space. He's got the number one pick. It's generally a winnable division. He's going to have some control over personnel, although probably not all. And it's not a local, vicious, powerful media, like talk radio is driving GMs and owners mad. You can have a lot of control. It's a college football market, and he is absolutely beloved in that city. Jacksonville is Florida Gator territory, and he won national titles there, so it makes a lot of sense. And I also think what's happened, and he's had a lot of, it's going to come down to this. In college football, you have to answer to a lot of people. You got to answer to the chancellors and your school president and some needy boosters and the NCAA. And in the NFL, you got to answer to one guy, the owner. If you're a powerful coach, and reportedly Urban's going to make $10, $12 million a year, he's going to have a lot more power than the general manager there, okay? So he's going to have to answer to Shad Khan. And if that works, if that relationship's good, then it's fine. I would rather deal with one really powerful person than the constant web of neediness at college, where it's just boosters and this card dealer and this web designer and the NCAA and your Pac-12 or Big 12 commissioner, and then you've got the TV networks leaning on you to move your games tonight, so that it's like, yeah. The other thing, though, that's real here is that when we mention the great football coaches of all time, we don't mention Bear Bryant or Woody Hayes, and we don't mention Nick Saban. We mention Belichick and Don Shula and Bill Walsh and Mike Shanahan, because it's harder to win in the NFL. In the NFL, the better you are, the worse draft picks you get. The better you are, the tougher your schedule is the next year. College football, there is a system that's almost rigged. But once you figure out the Rubik's Cube of it, you can dominate your schedule, put a bunch of Mercers and Panera Bread and roast beef tech on your schedule, put the buys wherever you want. And if you win one or two games a year at one of these traditional powers like Ohio State and Oklahoma and Alabama and Georgia, you can pretty much run 10, 11 wins every single year. You've got bigger budgets. You've got geographical advantages. You've got booster advantages and budget advantages. And so we don't consider college football legends. Barry Switzer was kind of an NFL eye roll, right? Jimmy Johnson won at college. But what made Jimmy a legend is the Dallas Cowboys. And Urban Maeyer can kind of separate from all the other college football legends by going to Jacksonville. And I do think for his personality, it's a great fit. He's got a home there. Okay, he's beloved there. The salary he's getting, he's going to have a lot of power and say in personnel. It's not a market. It's going to be a media that's more fawning than feisty. He's going to get Trevor Lawrence. It's also kind of a weird division where every year it's sort of up for grabs. There's no Patrick Mahomes here. There's no Belichick here. I like Tennessee, but they're going to lose their offensive coordinator now. Ryan Tannehill can win the division. It's just this division is always up. There's a lot of dysfunction in this division, okay? And so it's not the NFC West where you got Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson and Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan and You don't deal with 6 games like that every year. So I think it's going to happen. I do think he's in that really short window where he's going to sit and talk it over with his family, and they'll make the call. He'll make the call. I hope he takes it. I do. I think he makes it more interesting. And I think there's a handful of NFL franchises, not many. Jacksonville's one that needs a shot of interesting. They need a B12 shot of interesting. And I think Trevor Lawrence and Urban Maeyer are just what the doctor ordered. All right. Coming up, I'm so excited for this. Coming up next, 7 job openings. Who would I hire? Next. Yeah.
So the Seahawks have parted ways with offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. The team announced the decision yesterday, citing philosophical differences, which is a very classy way of saying we are not on the same page. Schottenheimer spent the last 3 seasons running the offense in Seattle. Seattle scored over 30 points in 7 of their first 8 games this season, but they scored more than 30 just once the rest of the year, and that was against the Jets. They really took a pretty quick dive this season.
Can I have one opinion here?
Yes.
Okay, so Pete Carroll wants to run the football. Okay, then maybe don't make the offensive line the weakness of the franchise, number one. And then number 2, don't draft Rashad Penny in the first round, who's a bust when Nick Chubb's available. Pete Carroll wants to run the football. Your offensive line's a liability, and your running backs, I like Chris Carson, when he's available. But you're asking, this is not a situation like Cleveland where you're like, run the football. You have the highest graded offensive line, and you got Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. You can do that. Or Cowboys a few years ago, run the football. Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick.
Yeah, you have the best offensive line in football, and you have Ezekiel Elliott.
So if you want to run the football, draft better running backs. You whiffed on a first-round pick like 3 years ago.
And put together an offensive line.
Yeah, outside of Dwayne Brown, left tackle. I do like they got a rookie out of LSU, right guard, Jamal, I'm forgetting his last name. Damian Lewis, my bad. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's a big kid. But, again, the offensive line and the running backs are an issue. Rarely healthy, underachieved, but that's what Pete wants. And I think Schottenheimer probably said, I think we should this is a Russ offense. Let's throw,
Well, to your point, it is a Russ, to Schottenheimer's point, I guess, if that's what he wanted, it is Russ's offense, but offenses need balance. Yes, we know what Russ can do when things fall apart. That's why we know he's spectacular. That's why we know Deshaun Watson's spectacular, because he makes something out of nothing.